sir or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's that's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise.
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it.
You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. It's the call-in show with no calls tonight. We had a technical difficulty here at headquarters and are currently working on it. We're gonna have to schedule some time later this week to try to iron out the kinks. So tonight it's just gonna be a regular old Street Fight, Brian and I talking to each other. But we would love to hear from anybody in the chat. If you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook, send us questions, send us stories in the chat. I'll be monitoring it all night long, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, this is just regular ass street fight, without a parachute, just making shit up as we go. Glad to have you here. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We're the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We've been doing it for almost 10 years now, and we are bringing you entertainment and a solution to all your problems, which is join up with your neighbors and create a better world while we have the chance. It's time to strike while the iron is hot. So I hope you're motivated and working on creating something better instead of freezing up in fear, because we don't have time for that. Thanks for being here. It's Street Fight.
I mean, I've had plenty of time to freeze up in fear.
You've been doing a lot of freezing up in fear. You and my wife are both people that freeze up in fear.
That's true.
She will watch the news for 2 hours, and by the end of the second hour, will say, like, I feel incredibly sick right now. And I'm like, you're filling yourself full of poison. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even watching the news, but I mean, I guess being online is the news, basically. It's the most doomiest place in the world. But I also, I understand it in a way. Because
it's not helpful.
It's not helpful. Not helpful to be a doomer. But it does feel like the natural way to be right now in a weird way. Like, it feels like what we're trying to do is more unnatural than the people that are like, it's fucked. Well, nothing's ever going to be the same.
Right. I'm always making the best of it, though. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be miserable until the day I die. I'm going to enjoy it, all the way. I think that's why I like thrash metal so much. I'm going out of this fucking thing. I'm going to be swirling down the pipeline, headbanging the whole time. Like, that's my game. I'm motivated, I guess, in a weird way.
Yeah.
We dug up a garden this weekend. I put together a trampoline. Actually, what happened, so on Friday night, you were supposed to come over to hang out, and
I got right to the end of your street.
You did?
And I turned around and went right home, and then went grocery shopping and had a panic attack.
You did?
Yeah, dude. You know how it is, man. I go have panic attacks. That's just how my whole life is. Just go have a panic attack, and then you tell your story. I'll tell.
No, it's fine.
You want to hear mine?
Well, I mean, it's just pretty much your panic attack was a chain reaction from my wife's panic attack, which, once again, I have the same wife.
I went to the store.
I have two wives that act and do the same things. I had 2 hits of acid. I cut it up into 8 pieces, and I gave her one of them. And the minute her mind got a rolling, all she could think about was getting coronavirus.
Yeah.
And she did it until she fucking puked. And so on Friday night, I ended up just eating more and more, and I ate like 2 hits of acid pretty much and stayed up all night long. So
I mean, your wife isn't even leaving at all.
No, she isn't. She hasn't left at all. She hasn't been exposed.
Like, she should not even be free. But you know what? That's the thing, though. You start to feel like, all right, well, what if somebody coughed into my window and it flew in or something like that? Just weird shit, man. It's weird. I'm
trying not to leave. I mean, I went and bought groceries for 3 weeks. I am, privileged enough to do that. And that's exactly what I plan to do, is not leave this fucking place. I don't mind. My daughter is having real bad fits of depression, though, I feel like.
Who?
My daughter.
I am too. So I think everybody is. Being inside sucks, dude. And, she just got used to having friends.
Yeah.
Now she don't have no friends.
That's true.
Can't have any friends.
We were having play dates like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, it's weird, though, because it's not weird. But I was talking with my wife about it today. And, when we wanted to have a kid, we made that decision because we believe that we were going to be able to teach her how to be a decent or good person, or how to navigate life. But then now I'm realizing that I'm just teaching her to be exactly like me, which is passionate fits of anger and sadness when anything doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, I feel the exact same way. If she can't do stuff, she just fucking throws a tantrum, and that's every single time that I have to do something I don't want to, I throw a tantrum on the inside, and I have to use all of these like CBT techniques to get out of it. Like, I'm actively trying not to be the way that she naturally is. You know?
I'm in the same boat there with like trying to like navigate the way that, like, I'm trying to navigate how to like not, I don't know, man. I'm used to like a lot of contact. You know what I mean? Like, I like talking to people. I like being around people. I like being in crowds. So this doesn't really, like, this is not my natural state. And it kind of makes me feel crazy. I have, like, wanderlust. I want to leave. I want to fucking be around, like, 150 people talking to them and stuff like that. And I just saw that ComFest and the Arts Festival got canceled. And I'm like, that's fucking, those are in July. At the end of June and early July. It's like, we're not even going to have that shit?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
We're not going to be around each other again. And it's just fucking like, it is hard not to get into a place where you're like, this might not go back to normal because we've never seen anything like this. 9/11 happened in one day.
Yeah.
And it was fucking over. And within 5 days, we got back to basically normal, you know? The president was like, go buy a TV and shit. And then everyone went out and bought a fucking TV. And then we went to war for still. And that's like basically what happened. But this just feels different. And it's like, why do I have to live through two historic things? Like, why couldn't I have just lived through the one? Why does it gotta happen now? You know?
Yeah. Well,
that's how I think. Like, goddamn, man, I lived through 9/11 and this, and what else is gonna happen? It shakes your foundation a little bit, I guess, is the thing.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you know, the financial situation of this country is very precarious and it can be fucked up very quickly. But, you know, we dug out a garden this weekend, so we're going to be working on doing stuff like that. I'm trying to do other things to occupy my time. I have a lot of bikes I need to fix up. I love board games I need to play.
Yeah,
and I've been doing something which I think I don't know if you're allowed to do it or not, but I do what's called monogamous play dates. There's one couple that I'm friends with that have kids, so my daughter isn't like completely alone. She can talk to other 7-year-olds right now, you know? But other than that, I mean, I play cribbage every other night with friends that have kids, and they're the only people I've seen besides you.
Yeah.
Like it's really been whittled down to 4 adults. Well, and Jason, so he's 5. 5 adults and 2 children that are the strangers that I see right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down to like, well, I see you guys. I see my brother because he lives right down the street from me. Sometimes I'll walk by and, hey, buddy. And then, like, basically it's just me and Katie and Gwen. And we're fighting more.
Really?
Just, yeah, of course. I mean, me and Katie aren't, like, going at each other super hard. We were Friday. Not even going at, she was just in a bad mood. And I was like, fuck you, you know? You're going to be in a bad mood? You know, I can be in a bad mood too, motherfucker. But then I realized, like, I'm in a bad mood all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So she has to deal with that, and it's fine. True. We're gonna go through that shit.
Yeah.
You know, me and Gwen have been at it though.
Really? You don't like each other as much as you thought. You're fair weather friends.
Well, we're good now. Like right now, me and Gwen are good. But oh my god, can I tell you? I'll tell you a couple stories here. I'll tell the Gwen one first. Friday night, I fucking went to the grocery store. I just melted down when I got home. I took off all my clothes. I took a fucking shower, sat down, and decided that my chest hurt. And that I had coronavirus because I was sweating because I was hot, and then I got really cold, and I got really hot, and I got really cold. But not even thinking, like, they had to tell me I had a sunburn. And I was like, that's why I feel like shit.
Yeah.
So, like, I have this sunburn, and I'm like, just having a fucking meltdown, right? And I'm like, what do you want for dinner? We're going to order some food for dinner. She's like, well, no, I get home, and I'm like, because I was out walking. I get home, and I'm like, I'm going to get dinner for me. I don't give a fuck what you guys eat. I don't care. If you want in, you can be in. If you want out, you can be out. Because they had just eaten.
Okay.
And my daughter's like, Gwen, I'll have second dinner. And I'm like, okay. Sit down on the couch. I over 40 minutes, 5 restaurants. I said 5 different ones. Said no to all of them. And then to fucking top it off, she was like, never mind, I'll just make something for myself, and walked out of the room. Everything closes at like 8 now, and it was 7:45 when we started this fucking process. And I just was like, why are you doing this? Like, we were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I know that's just because we're sick and fucking tired of sitting around the house. We just hate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It sucks. It's hard not to get that way.
Me and my wife fought in front of our friend. She said she wanted to leave the room after she witnessed the whole thing. We fought over having pizza toast or burritos for dinner. Because I was just going to make pizza toast because all the shit was going bad. It was the right time to make it.
Pizza toast.
Yeah. And we said we were going to get pizza, and then we withdrew the pizza option. And she wanted burritos instead. So we just made fucking both. Which, I mean, you got the time to do nowadays.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's what we're doing. My wife's on a diet because the doctor made her go on one.
She's on a super low sodium diet.
Yeah, and me and Gwen are like...
And this was the same when I did FODMAP. They ate completely different than I did.
Yeah, me and Gwen are like, well, I'll eat a fucking cheeseburger. I don't give a shit.
I will take a handful of salt.
This sodium stuff. I don't even know what has sodium in it, but I love
everything.
Yeah, I know. And I love everything, you know? So he's like, the other thing that happened to me this week is I had a monster of a panic attack on Wednesday, I think it was.
Okay.
I had therapy on Thursday. I went home and had a monstrous panic attack
after the show.
Yeah,
okay.
Just a fucking beast. I took my medicine that I was prescribed for panic attacks, and it basically made me feel a little bit tired, but it made me still scared, shitless, and I couldn't sleep because I just couldn't stop my mind from racing, and I just laid there and like kind of shook. I get real shaky. I can't stop moving.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I did therapy the next day with my therapist on the phone, and he's like, you gotta fucking, tell your doctor that. She told you to check back in if the medicine's not working. Get a hold of her. Just tell her the medicine's not working. I messaged her, and she messaged me back and said, well, some panic attacks are going to be normal. Have you tried jogging? And I'm like, well, I started to type it out. Like, I'm not going to go jogging at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
And if some panic attacks are just normal, then why even give me the fucking medicine in the first place to make me think that it's going to stop the panic attack?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just didn't even respond. I was like, I'm done. I can't fucking do this with her. I feel like a junkie every time I fucking talk to her. It's like, look, we both know what works here. There are a certain class of drugs that help with this thing.
Yeah.
And for a short period of time, while I'm having these things that are directly fucking motivated by the world right now that other people are doing, it's like, can we have some like give and take here? You know what I mean? Can you give me something that works so that I can lay down and feel like a fucking normal human being once a day, maybe?
Yeah. And we maybe try jogging first, though.
Yeah, I'll just fucking jog.
Take jog videos and send them to her and be like, you know what? You send her a message at 3:45 in the morning and be like, I did a jog earlier today, and send like a selfie of yourself all sweaty in jogging clothes.
Craig was like, my brother was like, you fucking walk 18 miles a day.
Yeah.
How much more? He's like, the human body isn't even set up to move much more than that.
You have to stop.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stop and eat or something at some point.
Yeah. It's like, fuck. Well, the therapist is now in my shit about, you think maybe that's an obsessive thing? And I'm like, 100%. I do believe that it's 100% an obsessive thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm obsessed with it. I know that I did not walk today because I did another thing, and it's all I'm going to think about for the rest of the day. My legs aren't sore. I can't sleep. It's going to suck. I'm going to be up all fucking night. But, yeah, he's like,
this therapist.
Do you think you're obsessed with walking? Oh, he fucking blew my mind up. Okay? He blew me away. Because he asked me, when motherfucker asked me what my early childhood was like, and I was like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, I don't remember any of it. And he's like, well, when's your earliest memory? And I was like, I don't know, like 12. or something like that. And he was like, 12? That's a little late, isn't it? And I was like, no, I just thought it was normal. I'm 41. I didn't think like 40-year-olds remembered being 8. You know? Like, I just figured it was like a long period of time. 40-year-olds just forget. You know, you just forget. And he's like, maybe you just...
Everybody listening along to this knows that you're a wrong figurer now.
Yeah. Well, he goes like, maybe, you know, it's so me. Because it's like, basically, he tied it up to like boredom. He was like, some people, if they don't have any strong bonds to anybody, they just figure it's not worth it to make up memories. And I was like, oh, that sounds like you just fucking really read my mind, because like I feel like it like wasn't. And then I start thinking about it, I'm like, I didn't really connect to anybody until I was like 12. You know, I have memories of me and Jason doing shit because it was just me and him most of the time. But like the guy's talking about like you're supposed to be building bonds with like your whole family and shit,
sure,
and parents and stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't do that like at all. That never happened, you know.
Right.
And it's just like it's a really weird thing to think about. Like that all this week I've been like, what did I do before I was 12? And like I said, I remember 2 things, maybe.
You don't know what you did?
I don't know. I wrestled my brother once in the back of the car. When we first met Jason. That's the fucking thing. Jason's in the memory though too. Me and my younger brother wrestled when we were hanging out with them for the first time before, you know, our parents were married and shit.
Okay.
I remember that. And I also remember me and Jason
okay.
And my brother bullying my sisters.
That's fun.
You know, he drew a pair of underwear and we said, this is what you are, and slid it under their door. Very good. Very high level comedy I was into at the time. But it's just like, maybe he's right. Maybe like maybe I just didn't really have any, other than Jason, probably no relationships. Because I didn't start hanging out with my younger brother until, you know, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So it was just like the only things I remember is shit with Jason. And then the rest of it, like, I don't remember any conversations with my parents. Well, ever. Period. Yeah. But like before I was 12, like I don't think they really cared that much. But then I'm also like now giving them a lot of credit. I am giving them some cover by saying like, I guess when there's 5 of them, like I have 1. And I feel like sometimes I even have trouble relating to the 1 that I have. There's 5 of them.
Right. I mean, being mad at your parents will take you down forever. I mean, it creates amazing art, and it does a lot for people, and it's something you have to work through. But, like, you do have to just let it go in a real way. Not in, like, a superficial way. You just have to forgive them for being human, and you have to really, at the root of you, understand what that means and actually get an idea. Yeah. You've met enough people now. You know what it's like. You know what regular people are like. They were regular people. That's who had you, regular people.
I know.
They weren't anything other than regular old weird-ass people that you see at the fucking grocery store.
You're right, because you don't think of them that way. It takes you so long to even think of them that way. Like even now sometimes, like, it's so weird. Like, I think you're sort of trained to believe that your parents have like an extraterrestrial,
special connection, and all that
thing where they understand the world in a way. But it's like, I'm a parent to a 15-year-old now, and I don't have that. So they didn't either. They were just doing whatever they thought. And honestly, if I had fucking 5 kids and they were all as close to the same age as we were, because we were all fucking teenagers at the same time.
Yeah, I'd deploy an LRAD on that situation.
Yeah, we were all teens at like the same time for a period, and it's just like, man, when we got to those teen years, I'm sure they were like, fuck that. My parents were like, we're going camping. We're gonna buy a camper, and we're gonna park it at a campground, and we're gonna leave on Friday and come home Sunday night.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you got to get away from these fucking people.
Sure. Makes sense.
But I also think the anger thing that you're talking about, though, letting go of the anger, like, I didn't have this much anger before my daughter was born, before Gwen was born.
Okay.
It happened when my daughter was born, and I was like, why couldn't they have done things this way?
Yeah.
And then now when she's 15, I'm especially feeling that, and I especially feel anger because of the way that, like, they related to me was like 100% negative. It was like the only time we talked, they were screaming at me. I don't remember doing fun things at all. I don't remember ever having a conversation that was like, hey, Brian, like, what are you into? What do you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That never happened. So, like, it makes perfect sense to me that at 12 years old, you know, I made a bunch of fucking friends in middle school that ended up being my friends until I was like 25 years old. And like, I have tons of, me and Jason talk about stuff all the time before we record and stuff. Like, I have all those memories. And it's because I made a family and it was people that cared about me at that time.
And it was all misfits for the most part. Probably
and I'm
just
sure
other people that don't have memories from before they met you, too.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'd all like to stab me in the heart right now. But like, at that point, it was like my family. You know what I'm saying? So it is like a really weird thing to me that's like, man, why is it that, like, why would you have kids and then be like, I don't give a fucking shit what they're doing? Or like, I'm not even interested in what they want. That's the real question. Because I'm not the only fucking person that has this issue. Like, we have talked to many people who are like, why don't my parents give a shit about what I do or what I want?
Yeah. I mean, that's how you go crazy.
I
mean,
know.
Like, you can't apply that because they don't think of it that way. You can put a malicious spin on it, but they probably aren't thinking of that way. They're just avoiding the connection. You know, for the most part, they're avoiding a connection and honest conversation. They're avoiding that. And, you know, we apply like a malicious intent behind it.
Yeah.
And I mean, but
it's not malicious though. I think it's laziness.
No, but when you say, why don't they give a shit about me? You're saying that in a malicious way.
Really?
You are.
I see it as...
Not giving a shit about somebody that is your own fucking child is very malicious.
But I see it not as them not... Like, it's... In my mind, dude, I'm not like, my parents actively
You think it's more like shrugging you off.
Yes. Yes. It's NUI. I think I'm using the right word. Like, it's like they're just, like, kind of like...
Meh about it. Yeah.
All right, whatever. And my parents, my dad, the 3 kids... Me, my younger brother, and younger sister, we have crazy interesting jobs.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, having a child makes you very alienated from your parents. It makes you very hard to understand all of that stuff. But it's also completely worthless to go down that route. You have to. This is what you'll do, and I think you should. You have to go through this for the last time. You have to go through this with like a brain trainer that can show you how to think about this stuff correctly.
Yeah.
And you just need to move on with it because they're going to set you free from all of the burden of even caring about this stuff because it's not serving you in any sort of way.
Yeah. No, I understand. And I know that like being mad at your parents is like such a cliched thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like most people I know were at least have been mad at their parents.
Well, that's what we have in common, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we have in common. Sure. I mean, a lot of us that hang out have that in common. But, you know, I meet plenty of people that have very, you know, tuned in, stable, rational parents that... You
don't think that... So
I don't think it's...
I'll say this, right? When me and Katie first started dating, we had to go to her parents' house every single Sunday, right? And hang out with her parents and barbecue. I hated it so much, and I could never figure out why. But I think part of me, even in my mind, was like kind of jealous in a weird way, because it's like, you care about your parents? Because like I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I had an ex like that, that I was with that was a part of a very big Catholic family, and it was something that I could never understand and ultimately just did not jive with me. I just could not go and listen to like the same stories over and over again, and like I appreciate what they have, but it's definitely me. It's a me issue.
Yeah.
It's something that I can't engage with that. Like, I don't believe that any of these people wouldn't cut my fucking throat for $1 million. Like, I don't think family matters. I think that's how I was brought up, you know? So, I want to change that, or I want to be better, but I also think that, you know, being around the people that I care about is more rewarding, you know? And I think that, you know, that that relationship with your parents is going to always be an Atlas type situation. It's always going to be a very arduous task, but is something that you're going to have. I mean, that's the genesis of all of us. You're going to have to crack the fucking code of what that shit really was, you know?
I guess
and even now, and how it can be, you know, going through all this stuff and talking about this stuff and not carrying it over into your relationship with them, you know, or figuring out what you want the next chapter of this relationship to look like, you know?
I guess there's also like for me, at least in my brain, there's a weird pressure to like love your parents. This weird thing where I like feel like it's normal.
I don't tell you, I've never told you to love your parents.
No, you wouldn't. You know, you encourage me. No, but in a lot of people do. Like, I feel like, I guess the normal way, the normative way. I don't think it's normal, obviously, because everybody is struggling with this type of stuff. But I do think it's supposed to be normal that you're like, I just really, like, I have a connection with my parents and I love them. And for me, I'm just like,
that's not normal.
You know, like
there's nothing normal about it. I mean, it's the same way where they said you're supposed to go through school in 4 years. When you turn 18 years old into 22, that's how you go to college. Yeah. Like, I've never met one person that everybody I know has extended beyond that. There's nobody that I know that has made it out like
realistically that. Takes longer than 4 years to do college.
Yeah,
and it says that you can do it in 4.
So all of I mean, the entire idea of normalcy is just not even relevant, you know. And especially when it comes to a relationship with parents, a lot of us don't have anything that's close to normal. But it needs to be something that is bringing you some sort of satisfaction, or if it doesn't make you happy, it's just something that you're comfortable with and within your own guidelines or within your realm of control. You know.
Yeah, let's answer some questions here. These are from the Facebook group. Okay. Brett, you got some too? Yeah.
People are just chatting.
That's good. Well, hey, if they're just chatting, talking shit, that's great. Are they enjoying the show?
They have, lots of people with fucked up lives in the chat, surprisingly. Yeah. There's a few folks that can absolutely identify what you've said already.
Well, the memories thing really was a mind blower to me. Like, that was like a real thing where it was like, oh man, you know, I probably didn't really have a ton of like real meaningful relationships until I started making friends.
Yeah, you know? you got abandoned by your mom at a very young age, and that kind of stuff affects what you can expect from people. My family blew apart because my aunt and uncle died in a plane crash, the ValueJet crash in Florida in the 90s. And they sued each other into oblivion and don't talk to each other anymore.
That's a crazy one there.
That was scarring to me because I did have a place to go every single Thanksgiving until I was, you know, in 6th grade or whatever. And then all of a sudden, when I hit like that 12-year barrier, when I started to understand adult things, when I had my head on my shoulders and I wasn't throwing childish tantrums, these people that like were supposed to be my family, like ride or die loyal people, were fighting over a few $1,000s and like kicking my grandma out of their house and shit. You know, it was.
Do you ever wonder how much the money was?
It's so bad.
Dude. I know. That's
I bet it was
10
nothing.
Grand.
I know it was
10 grand.
It was so pathetic.
Yeah, it had to be. It couldn't have been more than maybe. Let's just say maybe $50,000.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sure.
Which is a great amount of money.
Just a Camaro or a nice truck.
Great amount of money. Nobody's trying to say that 50 grand isn't a lot of money. I'd love to have 50 grand. But I wouldn't like upend my entire life and tear away from everybody.
I wouldn't kick away all my family and tell them that they're trying to get,
It's just wild.
It's, you know, but that's what I think that's normal. That's wrong, but like I think that there's more situations where people have been betrayed by family that they don't want to admit. We can smooth over a lot of stuff, and you know, and make a change for ourselves. You know, like we're doing it differently. We're not carrying this stuff on, but
we're doing
Jesus,
great.
It's so. But it just passes down. I mean. I'm raising myself. Like as much as I don't want her to be me, she's just fucking me right now. Like it's so apparent.
Yeah, Gwen's a lot more like me than she is like Kate, and like you can definitely see it in her. But I also think that like the way people nurture that kid, my kid, Like, I think that's going to mean that she's going to do some pretty special stuff in her adulthood, you know? Yeah, I think she's going to do some really cool shit because people have nurtured her and told her that she's worth something. And I think she's a really creative kid. She's been writing a lot of stories and stuff, and I'm, like, really happy for her.
It's
you
good.
know? But she does have my fucking horrible cool thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that fucking thing where I have to be cool.
Yeah.
And it's like that just means you miss out on like any
A
great
lot of-
fun thing, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Brett.
You got to embarrass yourself.
Yeah. How's the cooking life been? You been cooking?
Yeah, I've been doing all right.
I'm doing bad.
Really?
I started making edible cookie dough because I was spending so much money on cookie dough.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I guess that.
And it's bad. I've never made good cookie dough. It's just a hard thing to do.
It's not the same.
It's not eggs. You don't put eggs in it. So you have to replace those eggs with milk. And like, you have to figure out the right amount. And, like, it always comes out crumbly. And then I think I got it right last time. But like a fucking dingus, I crushed up, like, 8 Oreos and mixed it in there with it. So it just tasted like the Oreo cream. And I was like, fuck this cookie dough. And I made...
I don't think raw eggs make you sick. I mean, I ate raw cookie dough for several decades of my life.
I'm not going to be the guy that goes to the hospital for salmonella during a fucking pandemic.
I don't think you would be.
Well, they say you will. They say not to do it.
Because they want to sell you $9 cookie dough.
Well, you can make it at home for like almost nothing. But it's not as good, obviously. But anyway, so the cookie dough's gone bad. I baked... What did I bake a couple weeks? But I'm not cooking. I'm basically... I'm ordering food a lot of time. Oh, I made pasta the other day. From scratch. Not the sauce. There's a really good company that makes sauce here that you can get for $7, and I just buy that. But I made the pasta from scratch.
Oh,
what a hell thing that is to do. It
really?
took me an hour.
Well,
maybe more than an hour to roll it out. It's so hard.
My advice on pasta is you have to make enough that you can freeze for like the next 6 months. Like, you have to make it in bulk. Making it one time is a huge task.
Yeah, I just wanted fresh pasta, so I made it. And that was
I-
good. It tasted good. I didn't get yield much because I had to throw a bunch of it away because I tried to roll it 4,000 times and it wasn't sticking together. But other than that, it's like... I'm eating like my regular dinners I eat when we're not in a pandemic. Other than a steak dinner every week. We have steak and salmon every week. One day, just a steak, and I have a steak and they have a salmon, and we have mashed potatoes and a big vegetable next to it. That's like one time a week we get to have that because steak and salmon both cost a stupid amount of money.
Sure.
So
yeah, for cooking for me, I mean, I've been on the canned bean route. I just eat like baked beans on hot dogs a lot. With I chop up purple onions and put a bunch of mustard on top. Also, we've been eating just refried beans wrapped in tortillas.
Purple onions are fucking amazing. We've been doing refried beans and tortillas too.
Basically, what I do is, so I will make something like, I will just make like pesto pasta with bacon chicken in it and just like a big bowl of shit, and I'll hand it to Erica. It'll be like 1,000 calories in one go, and then she will like roast one vegetable a day, and that's been pretty much our. And then the rest of that is just filled with cereal and granola bars and any sort of sweet wheat treats that you can get.
Yeah, I had to go to the store and I wanted to get enough for at least a week and a half.
I bought for 3 weeks, dude.
I
felt crazy. I was at Aldi. I spent $300 at Aldi.
Buddy, I spent $270 on Friday, and I'm only thinking.
But my cart was filled though, and it was like there was guys in there that were just buying one bag of onions, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing right now? You're gonna have to come back. Like, make your recipe without onions right now. That's what onion powder. That's what you have to use. Do not come here for a bag of fucking lemons. Buy it once and don't come back. I don't want to see your ass here in the next 2 weeks.
I have such I'm a compulsive. You know what I need? I need a safe at my house
I've already
put
looked
the
them in.
treats in.
They were on Shark Tank. There was a company that went on Shark Tank. They sell like Rubbermaid type things where you can punch in a code and then you can program it on what hours during the day that you're able to access what's inside.
See, I need a safe of some sort because I buy like so many treats. It's like, I need at least one treat a night. You've been on tour with me. I like to have a treat every night.
Yeah, we need
Dessert's part of dinner or something like that. And so I've been trying to but I go and buy enough treats for 2 weeks and eat it in 4 days because I just fucking am like, damn, them cinnamon muffins are good.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat 2 of them tonight. But you know what I've gotten really into that has cut my calorie intake down so much and I'm just over the moon for it. Is Jello Jigglers.
Oh, yeah.
Jello Jigglers.
Jello's
like crazy,
great.
Man. Just every week, I go through a thing of it in like 2 days, and then I immediately am like, let's get these Jigglers rolling.
So here's the thing I've been able to do to get around some of the overeating, which is buying mixes, like buy a brownie mix for like $1.85, buy a cookie mix, buy a key lime pie mix. I bought all this stuff so that it has to
Smart.
be made.
I have some cinnamon rolls, the Pillsbury cinnamon rolls, and they're just sitting in my refrigerator. I had them for 2 weeks.
The cookie...
And they're like one of my favorite things to eat, but I'm like, I don't want to make that much time.
So Aldi has Aldi has the tag along peanut butter cookies from the Girl Scouts, and they also have Samoas. So we've just designated, we just give up. If we open it, that's the only treat for the day. Like you just get one bag of Oreos, one bag of Samoas, one bag of tag-alongs per day.
And it's sitting out.
That's all
Everybody
it is.
has to have the same treat.
Yes, everybody gets that for the day.
See, no, my wife isn't eating treats right now, and Gwen likes like 3 treats. She's not really a treat gal like I am.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she likes treats, but she's so good at not eating them.
My daughter just spit out macaroons.
That's ridiculous.
There was an Aldi special on macaroons, and no one in the house likes them, so I guess I'm going to fill myself full of macaroons.
They're so good.
They're
How could
a
you
next
not like
level.
them?
They're so pillowy.
Ridiculous person not to like macaroons. I might make some macaroons this week. So the food is, I think, middling for us. Like I'm eating a lot of the same dinners, except for I have a steak dinner every week.
I think I've been. So like I mentioned, I have I have monogamous hangouts with friends, and we do order food when we get together a lot. We've had a couple. We've made a couple dinners, but for the most part, we are ordering food.
Me and G-Dog order food like crazy. Like me and Gwen are just like, I don't really feel like eating any of the many meals we have in this house tonight.
Stupid.
I think I'm gonna get Shake Shack.
We eat all the fresh food that we can, and then I have a whole bunch of canned green beans and a lot of frozen peas. And after we eat our way through that and we get annoyed again, I'm going to go back to the grocery store.
True.
But I've got a while to go on that one. I bought up all the fake meat that Fresh Time had, all the fake chorizo. Mm-hmm. You got to try this shit, dude.
Okay.
Field roast is the way to go.
We'll do that. How's gaming been? You been gaming?
We
played Block by Block a few weeks ago, but I had a serious crazy trip experience, so we didn't stream it. And we're going to do it again sometime when we have time. It's a wonderful game.
Board gaming's been good. We played Block by Block. We played Pandemic. I've been playing a ton of cribbage. Right before the shutdown, I got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is really good for Switch. If you have, like, me and my wife can play that. Kids can jump in. It's very much, you can adjust it to the skill level of whoever's playing. And there's a lot of really good characters in there. Miss Marvel is fucking great. Yeah, we've had a good time with that. Right now, I am about to fire up Fire Emblem. That's going to be my next game.
I have Tetris I'm playing because I'm 41 years old. I was playing Celeste, but like it was... I think I'm almost done with it, so I might just go back to that when I get home or something. But like, I am playing Tetris Marathon too. Not even the competitive Tetris. I finally paid the $10 for the DLC where you can play Marathon, and I just fucking set it for 999 lines and just go until I can't go anymore.
Okay.
I changed the controls, like to my own way of being set up, and I don't think I think ergonomically it's better for me, but I think I probably should have just kept them and learned the other way.
Okay.
But I like it. I love Tetris. I mean, I've been a Tetris head since I was a kid.
Yeah, I have that. We should play. I have the Tetris Puyo Puyo. We should play against each other.
Yeah, let's do that. How has isolation affected your ability to post? I mean, obviously, not at all for me.
Mine has been embarrassing. Like, I did all that acid on Friday, and, like, I messaged all kinds of people, and I was tweeting crazy shit. I feel like I've been drunker than ever. I've been wilding, I feel like, on social media, to be honest.
Well, you know, you're really, and I said this, we were talking about this earlier in the show, or earlier before we started recording. It's like, me and Brett are supposed to be in Jacksonville, Florida right now, probably on stage after Jake Flores is just killed. And that's real hard for me. I know that it's like dream job shit and stuff like that, and that my job's not super hard, but it is very hard because, like, I do feel like my job is the stuff I do on stage feels like my job. I love doing this, and this is my job, you know? But, like, the time I get the most satisfaction and the time I feel good is after I walk off that fucking stage, when I'm done with the show and I'm hanging out with the fans. And, like, it's really hard I'm like having visions in my stupid fucking head of walking on stage. You know what I mean?
Street fight, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, you know how sometimes when we get up there, I'll do that big stomp up to the, that's what I keep seeing that in my head, like doing the big stomp on the stage. That's really tough, man. But my posting, pretty good, I think. I had a good tweet about the bubble tint on a car, which is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Nobody can tint, Brett.
Nobody can do it on their phone. You only should go to professionals for tinting.
I know.
There's no way you're going to get out of that without a bubble.
Some Lonnie in the mention is going to be in the mentions this week. Like, oh, I did it right. I didn't. I did bubbles, and it's like you're fucking the 1%. You're not the 99%.
You're lucky.
Because, like...
Consider yourself lucky. Because everybody else has got a bunch of air bubbles in there.
I think about it all the time where, like, the person talks themselves into the fact that they're going to do it. And they probably do research like crazy.
Even now, you can watch people on YouTube do tint, I bet.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it, though.
Yeah, you can't do it. I mean, it seems easy, though, when you think about it. When you think about tinting your windows, this is what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think it involves. So then you know... And I think this is going to articulate to you why people do it. Because I've been thinking about this for like 2 days. I think it comes in a strip, right? Is it all one tint? It's like the window tinting. Like just, it's on a roll.
Yeah.
So you take a roll of tint and you fucking lay it across and you cut it so it's out. And then I assume it's as simple as taking like a fucking slidey boy. I don't know what they're called, like a squeegee sort of thing.
Squeegee, okay.
You take a squeegee thing and you just push the air bubbles down until they're out of there, and boom, you got yourself a tinted window.
Yeah, you think that because you've put on a phone screen protector before.
Exactly. So, like, I do understand why people do it, because intellectually it feels like the easiest thing in the world to do. But I feel like we've gotten enough evidence that it's very hard to do, that we should stop trying to do it ourselves.
I don't know. And nobody's trying to get tinted anymore.
I saw one. The reason this idea that tweet came up is because I was walking down the street in my neighborhood and there was a car with it, and I was like, "Why'd you do that, man?"
I was gonna send a text to our boys chat that said, "I'm gonna get Erica convinced that I should put new speakers in the van with this incentive, with this
the stimulus
Trump
money?
bucks." Yeah,
I'm buying an off-white hoodie.
I want good speakers.
Yeah.
I want good speakers in my van that I can like crank all the way.
Yeah, I also thought about just buying $500 worth of fucking edibles.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. You want to take a break?
Sure.
And come back?
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick.
We can't play music.
We can't play music, so we can't take a break.
That sucks.
Jake, cut that out. I'm okay. You got to go to the bathroom or something? Because I can talk.
Yeah, I wanted to hang for a minute. I just wanted to take a break.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, it happens.
Where are we at here? Where are we at? Let me see. I don't want to take a break without music, though. Huh?
50 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to take a break without music.
Take 3 minutes.
All right.
All right, I'll tell you what. write the time down, Jason, so Jake knows. We're going to go for like 5 minutes, take a break. It's going to be quiet. Jason, put something like "we'll be right back" on the screen. And I promise we'll be back. You can just stare at the IWW flag behind me. And that'll be it. Just 5 minutes. Just give it, not even 5. Just a few minutes.
Yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Hey guys, I'm back. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, of course. I'm back. It's just me, Street Fight Radio. Call-in show, but not a call-in show, you know? It happens. Our shit just, right before we were about to start taking calls, it shit the bed. And the whole computer settings went away. So, we gotta set that back up. But, we're answering questions from people on in the Street Fighters Facebook group. Hard to get in, but once you're there, people love it. So I guess I'll just go to the next question is best board game for being stuck inside. I think we talked about this. There's a game called Lost Cities that me and Katie play. It's a 2-player game, which are very rare, but it's a fun-ass fucking game. And Brett is a board game expert. I know he's been playing cribbage, and we played Block by Block and Pandemic. But I'm sure Brett can give you a lot better games than I just told him about Lost Cities.
Lost Cities is a great, good 2-player game.
Yeah.
Here's my advice: if you're stuck inside with a spouse, you got to buy games that are made for 2 people.
Yes.
My board game collection consists of games for 2 people. So every time my wife is like, I want to play a game, we'll play Pecking Order, or we'll play something, Lost Cities. Any of the Reiner Knizia games are good.
Lost Cities is an incredible game. Just endless strategy.
Mr. Jack is a good one for 2 people.
Mr. Jack.
Yeah.
Who got the Jack? I'm reading a book about heavy metal. Oral history of heavy metal.
Oh.
I was reading about AC/DC. And just like how they were just like, they talked about how he started, I'm going to get it wrong, Angus started wearing the schoolboy uniform and shit. And then it just got me thinking, like, this motherfucker has to order schoolboy uniforms all the time.
In his size, yeah.
Yeah.
To get a 5XL.
The funniest thing in that book so far is by a guy I hate who will feature heavily in the next Shocktober, Ted Nugent.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about, like, well, why do you think I go on tour to make money? Like, I don't want the same toothless, dirty idiots staring at me the whole time, but I just do it so I can make some money. And I'm like, yeesh, Ted.
Not
brutal.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a lot of classic games for multiple people. The cooperative stuff is good. Some of my favorite cooperatives, Pandemic, what's it called? Ghost Stories is a really good cooperative game. Pandemic is great. Block by Block is really good.
For the Street Fight listeners, Block by Block is the game. Yeah. You would all love it.
And it's also, if you look up, I mean, it might take a little bit of investigation. I'll try to put a link out there, but Block by Block is available as a print and play game. So you can print out all the pieces and cut them out and play the same fucking game with no cost at all.
It's a great game too. It's very fun. The actual game is beautiful, and I would buy it if you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's great. Next question. This one's a little bit racy.
Okay.
How has quarantine affected your horny levels? I'm sitting in my own... I mean, I'm showered a lot more.
Okay, so you're ready for love.
I take a walk so I get a shower, but, like, it's also you're just sitting around all day, and you're just like, ugh, nothing sounds good.
Really? Not even sex?
My horny levels are normal right now. They haven't changed at all. But let's just say it like that.
Dude, having my wife around all day has made me hornier than ever. I'm just like, we could do it anytime we wanted. Get off this meeting and then let's go take a break.
Let's get some sex in.
I have to say that kids are the best. Like, kids are the best case for abstinence. They're the best prophylactic that you can ever get.
Yeah, because
they introduce.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the moment that I start, like, rubbing my wife's ass, like, just get a little booty rub going, I hear my daughter clambering up the steps, and she just runs up and dives right in between us every single time.
And you got a boner or something, and you're laying there, and the kid jumps in the bed, and you're like, oh, well, it goes right.
You got smashed into the bed.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to, like, I'm trying to coax my wife to stay up. Like, I'm trying to put my daughter to sleep, but at the same time keep my wife excited.
Yeah.
You know, one of them is going to bed, one of them is trying to keep them up and rowdy.
Yeah. I've been pretty tired the past week though too, because I'm taking this anxiety medicine. So
it's I my sleep schedule is definitely
messed up.
Messed up, but you know, I mean, I'm kind of thankful that I've been able to live my life how I want and stay up all night, and I don't get nagged at or anything, which is fucking great. Like if I wake up at 10 or 11 or even noon, I can still go get a back rub. As soon as I wake up.
Damn, you get back rubs?
I get back. All I do is I wake up every single morning. I walk down the stairs. I crawl onto the couch and I slowly just slink up and put my head on my wife's lap. And then she just goes to town on my fucking back hair. It's the best. She unmats the whole nest.
Jealous of that. What's your favorite anime, Brett? This is a Brett-specific question because he watches that stuff. I've just seen Cowboy Bebop and... some of that famous Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I never make it through the shows. So, Cowboy Bebop is cool as shit, though. I'd love to see like a live action. Cowboy Bebop.
I don't feel like I'm as hardcore as I should be. Like I've watched a lot of stuff, but I do like Cowboy Bebop was a huge deal for me when I was younger, and so was Evangelion. And I haven't deviated away from those two. I've been trying to watch other stuff. I'm going to watch Die Guard. I've heard it's pretty good. But right now, I would say I'm watching with my daughter a lot of Haunted House. If you go on Netflix, there's a show called Haunted House, and it's these kids that have access to this like medallion that awakes this like goblin that comes and helps them fight like ghosts.
Is it serialized or is
it's serious. Like every single week there's like a new kid that died and turned into a ghost, and these children get wrapped up in their situation and they have to like resolve this family's issue that they can't deal with, you know, the death of their kid or whatever.
It's each episode is standalone or not standalone?
Standalone for the most part.
Oh, okay, so it's not serial.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
But it's okay.
You know what? I'm going to say Evangelion has a very trippy atmosphere to it. Cowboy Bebop is very cool. But I think the longest running one that I love the most is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
The Joestar family.
The Joestar family?
Yes. They're all Joestars. And there is different iterations of them throughout time. And I think that series as a whole is a really great thing to get wrapped up into. And there's so much to watch. Naruto, I tried, but I couldn't finish. Kenshin, I love. I think that's a fucking good one. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the one I put at the top.
Well,
somebody in the chat said One Punch Man.
I've seen some of that. I just can't watch a lot of cartoons. That's my thing.
Here's what I have to say. I think One Punch Man is only funny until you've watched a lot of anime. Like all the tropes of One Punch Man are just immediately hilarious to me because I've watched so much anime.
Yeah.
Evangelion was actually, for its time, was the One Punch Man. It was about a 15-year-old kid that all of a sudden was supposed to save the world, and how leading up to that, most of the time they just stepped up to the plate and saved the world. Evangelion was about a kid that didn't want to fucking save the world.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be a play on the tropes of before. One Punch Man is the modern version, I think, of that, where it established like this ultimate power character that is just annoyed by it, essentially.
Yeah. Cowboy Bebop, very good.
Cowboy Bebop is a fucking
all-timer. Like I said, live action movie. I'd love to cast the movie, really, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I feel, didn't they do one?
They were working on it.
Oh, they were.
And I think it's for Netflix, though, so it'll probably look like it cost 75 cents to make.
Yeah, I never watched the Death Note live action movies. I'd love to hear what people think of that, too, because Death Note was a good manga. I never watched the anime, but I would love to hear what the live action movies were like.
I'm looking at it up. Oh, it is being made. John Cho is in it? I'm looking. They're shut down right now. Or they were in 2019, so that's not like really a good sign. But John Cho got injured on set, so there's that.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to see who's all in it. John Cho's a really good choice for... the main Spike.
Spiegel. Spikoo. Yeah.
All right, so here's the next question. This is I see this as a Brian question, but it could be Brett. What TV shows or movies would you say influenced your perspective on the world growing up? Why do you think it did, and did any of that stick with you? Well, I watched a lot of MTV growing up.
Okay.
And it influenced me a lot at the time because it felt like that's where the cool stuff was happening. So it was like, okay, I want to be like the real world. I wanted to be any character on the real world, especially Puck. I wanted to be Puck really bad. But like I found the real world to be very cool, and that was something that really influenced me. And and it's on Hulu now, so I might even go back and watch it. But a really important movie to me growing up was Natural Born Killers.
Oh yeah, that was a fucking legendary movie.
Yeah, because I think it really pushed me to watching stuff that maybe was a little weirder than, because for me it was like all about like these big blockbuster, whatever the big thing was. The Crow, The Crow was a big deal to me though. That influenced me a lot. But like, for some reason, Natural Born Killers was such an important movie to me as a kid. And
well, it felt like, I think that movie felt dangerous at that time because you weren't supposed to identify or like you weren't supposed to understand the point of view of somebody that commits crime.
Yeah, and I wonder if it holds up, but it really was made in a way that could make it seem timeless to me, because it just looked so different, and everything about it was it was just such a different movie. And you guys also got to remember that like Woody Harrelson was not like a dark, twisted guy before that movie. It was like
he was not an anarchist.
Yeah, the guy from Cheers is a lot. That's all he was. I don't know what else he even did. White Men Can't Jump, maybe before that. But it was just kind of like seeing him be real dark, seeing Rodney Dangerfield in it, like as a real dark character. It was just one of those movies. It was like, man, maybe I do like really twisted stuff, because that movie is like, it's pre-Joker. It's just a really twisted, fucking weird movie, and like, I don't know. I think it like influenced what I thought was cool after that. It definitely, wouldn't have watched a lot of the Dudes Rock, the Quentin Tarantino type stuff if I hadn't seen Natural Born Killers first. Yeah. I saw Goodfellas after Natural Born Killers. Like, I saw a lot of those movies that ended up being like these classics these classic like touchstones that like everybody knows about and can reference. And that happened because I saw Natural Born Killers. And I think it also, to me, symbolized turning into an adult watching that movie, because it was sort of like it wasn't for kids at all. The movie wasn't
adult themes.
Yeah, and they even like there was a big outcry about it being what it was. And it's just one of those things that movie was weirdly important to me. And also like some of the like really corny stuff that was on Nickelodeon, like Brady Bunch. I think the Brady Bunch is why I have such weird family shit going on in my brain, you know? But
what was the question again?
Where do you think, what TV shows or movies would you say influenced your perspective on the world growing up? And why do you think it did? And did any of that stick with you?
Yeah, I don't know. The movies, like, I think Fight Club happened when I was in high school. And that movie is a joke now, I understand. But
not really. I've seen a lot of people defend it, too. I've seen both sides of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Doors, right? Like, people say they hate The Doors, but then there's a lot of people that are like, nah, The Doors are cool. You just don't get it,
I think I was definitely a part of that like early millennial time, the early hipster thing of the early 2000s of, going from that to like The Matrix and then into V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff was just kind of, it was a way to say, don't trust the narrative, the official narrative, ask questions, be skeptical. And, it led me into some ugly or bad point of views. It definitely put me in a conspiratorial route, but I think more than anything, it was a way to say, there's other people out here that don't trust the American dream and don't believe in what the powers that be are saying. Like the status quo is something that doesn't need to be upheld.
Yeah.
You know, that was informative. And then for comedy, honestly, I love doing the podcast, but sketch comedy has been the biggest informative thing in my life. Like when I was a kid and I would go to my grandma's house, she had cable, so I could watch Roundhouse, which was on Nickelodeon, and it was kids doing sketch. It was kids doing Saturday Night Live. And then later I would stay at her house and she would be up all night and I'd watch Saturday Night Live with, you know, while she went to bed, or watch In Living Color or Mad TV.
In Living Color was big to me. Like that was another one that was like, my parents hated it.
My parents loved it. My parents thought Homie the Clown was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I would put an orange in a sock and fucking do Homie Don't Play That in the house.
Yeah, my parents were like, you shouldn't be watching that show, but they didn't stop us from watching anything else. They probably racism, really, because they were also like up on Martin. They were like so annoyed that I liked Martin.
Yeah.
And I think the In Living Color thing really fucked with them because it was on at the same time as America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
And that was like their favorite show.
Yeah.
And I was downstairs watching this like really subversive like black comedy show, you know?
Yeah. I loved Upright Citizens Brigade. Like, I know that's something now that's like a thing, but it was at the beginning, it was very transgressive, and it was doing things that and having conversations that had never done before. Kids in the Hall was huge. Like that kind of I like jokes that exist for 3 to 5 minutes and we have a great fucking laugh about them and then we move on. I think that's what like kind of bred me for podcasting, is that I like to make something up with you and we just bust our guts laughing about it and then we move on to the next thing. And that, I think that was informative to, you know, what I do.
Yeah, I was big into Mr. Show, was like really important to me for that time too. Like that show was just, I mean, I still think about sketches from Mr. Show to this day, and I could sit and watch it and I would probably still laugh. There's some stuff in that that's just so timeless and so fucking funny and weird and different, and like that was a big deal to me. And it's weird because my dad is who told me to check it out.
Yeah.
Because he liked Monty Python, and he was like, this show's kind of like Monty Python. And I was like, oh, well, he likes it.
I loved Monty. I loved Monty Python and Holy Grail as a teenager. Like, that was something to me. It was just so cool to see adults being silly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just at my right now interacting with kids, like I am a silly grown up. I do things that like they're just amazed. Like they've never seen their teacher or an administrator or anybody have fun or act like a child the way that I do. And I feel like a lot of that is borrowed from Monty Python stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The last question we have here is, where do you think we go from here in regards to when the crisis settles down? Do you think we'll see any real structural changes? If so, how do you think we'll respond as a society? And like, I'm taking this thing one day at a time. And like, I said this early on in the thing before lockdown even happened, that like the natural response in this country and in the world is to try to get things back to normal as soon as possible. And I think there's going to be a lot of work ahead of us, but I do think things are going to get dangerously back to normal. Like things are going to get back to normal in a way where we feel like everything's solved and we don't have to deal with it. It's going to be like there's going to be this moment where we all exhale and we all feel good and we're all out hanging out with each other at shows and we're saying like, why didn't we get universal health care out of that crisis? And it's because, you know, we're just so happy. We'll be so happy to be back together, you know? And like, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I feel like there's an opportunity, and I feel like people, I don't want to think of like doom and gloom, but like my outlook on it is that like at some point there's going to be a cure, or there's going to be a vaccine, or we're going to flatten the curve and we're all going to be able to get out together. And just like happened with like 9/11, it might be 5 years down the road, but we're going to be where we were before this happened. And like, that's maybe my negative outlook. My positive outlook is that like, maybe we get through this thing and like some real shit's gonna happen. Like, we're really gonna be like, the government failed us and we need to do something about this and we need to fix this thing. But my brain says that everything's just gonna go back to the way it was before, and that we're going to be in our same fight again. People are going to forget what happened here and how things are, and we're going to just all be in the same fight again. But,
yeah,
you know, that's a positive thing, though, too. I don't think that's doom, necessarily. I think it's like, you know, it's doomish to say that we're going to be back like we were in December, I guess. But, like, I just think that's what's going to happen. I have never seen anything like this, but I just feel like that's where I see this going.
Yeah, I would have to say, I mean, I agree with you. I haven't seen anything like this, and that's why I don't think, I can't imagine, when I say back to normal, all I mean is that we're able to, like, congregate again. I don't think the status quo will be restored after this, and we're in a very historic period, what I'm understanding, because this isn't like the banks fucked up their money and now we all have to like lose retirement or lose our jobs and shit. This is like people at the bottom. Everybody on Main Street has lost their fucking jobs, and that kind of stuff is going to trickle upwards now. And we're the driving force of the economy. So I think right now, the virus is the biggest hindrance to changing things, because everybody is so open right now to see things differently. I think people look at their neighbors in a very different way than they did before, than they did in February. And so, in my opinion, we're moving towards a point where things are going to have to change. And I've seen enough from the folks that I know are holdouts. You know, like I said on Wednesday, I've seen my like self-made tattoo guys all of a sudden be like, I don't think UBI is a bad idea, or maybe Medicare for all is something we all need. And I think that's going to stick. I think the Overton window got moved in a huge way. I'd love to see like Bernie Sanders capitalize on it and use it to win a fucking election. I mean, I think that's like right now's the time to pounce. But you know, Joe Biden is looks like it's going to be the inevitability of this. But on the ground, for what I've seen with Nextdoor, what I've seen with my Facebook feed, is that everyone else is moving towards camaraderie and mutual aid than I've ever seen before. You know,
yeah, we
all know somebody touched by this. We all are related to somebody that can't make a fucking living right now. And that bootstrap shit isn't going to work. I mean, maybe it will get into some dicey circumstances, but that's just what needs to happen. You know, I'm along for the ride of this, and you know, I'm expecting things to go in the way that they need to. Like, I mean, the amount of people that are in need, they're going to make demands, and you know, fucking Instacart, still, I can't get an order on Instacart at all. And I'm not complaining. I think the Instacart people should exert their power. I think the Amazon people should exert their power. And I think that this is going to make a fundamental difference in what people have as an understanding for the world that we're in right now. You know?
Yeah. Hey, I like your way better than mine.
I mean, I think I'm preparing for the worst, but like, I'm not going to be miserable. I think that's the difference. That's where I'm at is, you know, I might not have the best head on my shoulders when it comes to understanding the disaster that's ahead, but I'm not going to be miserable every single moment before that.
Yeah.
Like I want to work towards developing a situation that builds community and unites ourselves with each other, because there's way more of that happening right now. I've seen a lot bigger influx in people looking out for their neighbors than I ever have, you know, and that's because of a crisis. And I think that kind of stuff is going to fundamentally change who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's a good way to end the show. We got through all the questions. We've done an amount of time that I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
So that's the end.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight. You can find us on streetfightradio.com. That includes if you want to know what the music that we play at the end of the show is. I can't put it on SoundCloud, so I go to put it on the streetfightradio.com feed. You can go and look at the show notes, and that will list all the music that we play. You can also get bonus content. That's what keeps us rolling. Patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. We've got Shocktober there. We've got Teen Fight Radio. We've got American Podcast. We've got March Madness. We've got the Holy Boys. There's so much premium content. And I want to say, if you sign up right now, you're not going to be charged. You can sign up and listen to anything that you want and try it out. You're not going to be charged until May 1st. So please have at it and give it a shot. We've got bonus video content, including live shows, including us watching movies like Pump Up the Volume and Some Kind of Monster by Metallica. We watch TV like Shark Tank and Undercover Boss. So consider the $5 a month level over on patreon.com. You get access to all of that, including all of our digital zines. So please.
Shocktober in 2 weeks. Not in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. This week is the March Madness wrap-up show. Next week, Shocktober. Then Holy Boys with me and Tom Sexton talking Jimmy Swaggart with Leslie Lee is the first episode.
Yeah, so we we're here for everybody. We're here for the people. We want to keep spreading this mess across the U.S., even if we can't leave our homes. And I hope that all y'all out there are motivated and working on creating a better world, because now's the time to fucking build it. So we appreciate y'all that chip in and support what we do and spread the word. We're Street Fight Radio. I'm Brett. He's Brian. Talk for a minute. I gotta shut it down.
Reading stuff, just looking at people's websites and stuff. Just
love websites.
Yeah,